Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm here today with this little video tutorial to show you how to make these cute little covered notebooks. I've been sending these out as gifts to customers who shopped with me in January. The inspiration for covering these relatively cheap little notebooks to make them into something rather special comes from Sam Hammond. She's several videos on her YouTube channel, which you'll find if you search for poodles. But the decoration, the way I've decorated it, is all my idea. On this one, I've put notes because it's a little notebook, but then I had an inspiration and thought I could send these out with catalogues to customers, and then on this one I put wish so that they knew that it was for them to write their wish list from the new catalogue. Okay, so we're going to make one today using the same papers. These are the Sending Love papers from the new summer spring catalogue. All red and white, real red and whisper white papers. I was lucky enough to earn these, get these free at Telford, a Stampin' Up event in November, and I've been using them quite a lot. Anyone who's followed my blog will have seen some little gift cards I've been making with them. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, we need a little notebook. They're very easy to source. Any lots of shops do these. Wilko's, Asda, just little cheap shopping jotters. And oh, there's a loose page in that one. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and the first thing that you need to do is just to take the cover off. This is a really flimsy, this isn't going to do anyone any good, cover off these. They're usually stuck on the back like that. You want to try and tidy it up as much as you can, but it doesn't really matter because it's going to be covered up. When we've covered it, all of that rubbish is going to be covered up anyway. So let's just take off the back here as much as we can. Okay, and then we've got our notebook that we're going to cover. Okay, what we need to do is measure a piece of card that's going to cover the front with a tiny little lip on the end here, just to make sure that these pages don't get dogged if you're going to put it in your handbag or anything. So we want a tiny little lip on there. We want the length of the notebook, plus we want a little allowance for this spine, and then we need a piece to cover this messy back at the back here. So for mine, my notebook measured, oh, that's off the scale for you, isn't it? It's just at the top here. There, okay. Measured almost 6 inches. So I'm going to do it exactly 6 inches, so that tiny little bit will be my lip. I then want a 1/4 of an inch for the spine and about 1 1/4 to cover the back there. So I need a piece that's 7.5 inches long altogether, and this is this notepad is exactly 3 inches wide. So I'm going to start off with a piece of whisper white and my trimmer. And I am going to trim this down. I need my arm out because I'm going to trim this down to 7.5 inches. And then 3 inches over here. There we go. That's my cardstock cut down. I'm also going to cut, while I've got my trimmer out, I'm also going to cut my designer paper down, because what I'm going to want is for this to sit on the cardstock with a very, very tiny little border. So I know that my notepad is about 6 by 3, so I'm going to cut it 5 3/4 by 6 by 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. Sorry. So 2 3/4 would take me to there, and then 5 3/4 would take me to there. So now that's all the cutting that we need to do in terms of the trimmer. So put that away, and now we just need to do some scoring, and there are just 2 little score lines that we need to put on here. One at 6 inches. That's not my scoring tool, that's a pencil. One at 6 inches. And one at 6 1/4 inches. That's just going to allow for the spine. And then what you're going to want to do is to really burnish those folds, because we want this cover to lay nice and flat on the notebook. So we're going to burnish those folds really well. There we go. And before I stick that onto my notebook, so it's going to go like this, it's going to go on there like that. I'm going to attach it at the back and it will just lift up like that. Before I attach it, I'm going to add on my DSP, my designer paper, because I think that will just be easier to do it like that. So it's going to fit on there like that with a tiny border all the way round. Nice white border. Okay, so I'm going to use some tear and tape. I've already put one strip on there, so I'm just going to stick another strip there. I find the tear and tape much easier to use than the fuse and the snail, so that's what I tend to use quite a lot of the time, and it gives a very permanent seal as well, which I like. And then it's really easy, you just tear off the backing, and even people with me with minimal nails, well, she says, can get the backing off reasonably easy, so it's not a problem. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to line that up carefully, try and get it centered, doing this by eye. There we go, and that's the designer paper on the front of my pad, which will look really nice. Okay, so just need some more tear and tape on the back of here to just stick this on. Just very aware I might keep going off camera a little bit. Stick that on there. Okay, and then just peel off the backing again. And the other one. And then just line it up on the back of the pad. So you want it so that the spine sits nice and neatly there. And that hopefully it is on straight. And just stick that down. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a covered notebook. Okay, here's the other two that I made. So this is going to be the set. And I was thinking, what else could I write that's different on this one? So I thought, well, it's a book and I want people to write lists, so I'm going to put lists on it. And the lettering is cut with the large letter dies. This is a fab set. I absolutely love it. I'm not going to die cut on camera. I've already cut my letters, but I just wanted to show you the framelets. These are they cut so beautifully. I just sliced them through my Big Shot and they came out beautifully. And actually we're going to add another S because I'm going to put lists on this one just because it will fit, so that it's a book for lists for this one. Okay, and because we've got a red background this time, I'm going to do the lettering in white. I'm going to kind of line it up to where I want it roughly, just by eye. I tend to do all of these things by eye. If you wanted to be a bit more precise, you could draw yourself a little line to follow, or use something like some low tack tape to follow along. I tend to do it by eye though. I don't tend to worry too much. There we go. So this little booklet is going to say lists. There we go. Something like that. Okay, and then in order to stick these, because these are a bit fiddly, they'd be really fiddly to do with the tape. Actually, I'm going to use our liquid glue, our Tombow, but how I like to use it is I've got a Pringles lid and I've got a cocktail stick. I just squirt a little tiny bit of the glue, and you really don't need very much at all, out on the Pringles lid, and then I just use the cocktail lid stick to spread it around on the lettering, and that means it goes where you want it and not really where you don't want it. You don't have to use very much, you don't need much because it's quite a strong glue, and then you can just stick, and it will be a little bit more forgiving than the tape in that if you place something wrong, you have got a couple of seconds to try and move it and straighten it up and whatever. So you can just and you'll see how quick this is to do because I'm going to do the whole of this word on camera, so you can see how easy and quick it is to do this. So there's the I in my lists, the S. I really do love these framelets, and do you know that if you bought them, they're £89 in the catalogue, which I know is a huge investment, but I think they'll be useful for so many years to come, for so many projects. I wouldn't be without them, and even when they retire from the catalogue, they certainly won't be anything that I will be getting rid of in a hurry, because I think they've got a multitude of uses. There is a stamp set to go with them as well, which takes the cost up to, I think you get a slight discount for buying them together, takes the cost up to £119. But if you just bought the Famelets, it's £89. If you just bought some glue or something like that for another few pounds, you'd actually have earned yourself 2 free Celebration items at the moment from the Celebration catalogues, which, you know, what's not to like about that? There are some beautiful things in there. Stamp sets, the whole project kit. There's a whole project kit. There's a lovely tin that you can store your cards in. There is designer paper, and of course there are lots of stamp sets to choose from, and you can choose any of those products free. If you spend £45, you get 1 free, but if you spent £90, you would get 2 free. There we go. How quick and easy was that? And there's my notebook, all done. And how lovely would that be? I've been sending, like I said, these out to customers. I really hope they like them. Quite like that colour, the red and white. I know it's quite Valentine-y, and I'm not a very Valentine-y kind of girl, but I do quite like these in the range of designs, and I certainly will be making a few more. So thanks for watching. If you'd like to purchase any of the products used, please click on the link below the video, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. If you would like to subscribe to my video channel, I'll be posting loads more videos soon, so please come back and see what I'm up to. Bye for now.